Greetings, Earthlings. Welcome to Nature Obscura, a podcast where nature and the supernatural collide. I'm Marissa.
And I'm Grace. Each week, we share spooky happenings from the great outdoors, from cryptids to curses, ghosts to witches, and everything in between.
Now, while we love a haunted house or a scary hospital story, that's not what we're here for. We're taking you around the globe to explore where nature and the supernatural intersect.
At the beginning of each episode, we'll briefly share a spooky or nature-y encounter we've had over the past week before diving into the main story.
So, grab your flashlight and hold on to something so you don't get abducted by these UFOs in Hessdalen Valley. Today we are going into part 2 of the strange lights of Hessdalen Valley and diving all into the theories. But me and Grace were honestly just too excited to wait a full week to record this part 2, so doing it 2 days later. Don't have too much of an update on spooky things, but I did some digging onto the citizen science initiatives for UFOs in Michigan. Oh, well, let me tell you. Okay, it just got better the more I looked into it. So there's MUFON. So MUFON stands for the Mutual UFO Network, and it was founded in 1969, and it's actually based in Cincinnati, Ohio. It's a prominent nonprofit organization, and it's often described as the world's oldest and largest civilian organization dedicated to investigating and researching UFOs and UAPs.
Ohio is not very far from us.
No. Well, guess what? There's a Michigan chapter.
Yes.
There's Michigan MUFON, and it is quite active. Their organization, the MUFON organization in general, has more than 5,000 members worldwide with chapters and representatives in more than 40 countries and in all 50 U.S. states. Fun fact, there were 120 Michigan UFO sightings reported directly to MUFON in 2024.
No way, that many?
Yeah. So anyway, they have meetings, they have Zoom meeting events, and this is where I'm going to need you to come with me to this. They have an annual conference, and it is May 2nd, 2026. It's the Swamp Gas Conference. It's in Troy, and so it is actually, here, let me give you the details on the Swamp Gas UFO Conference. It's celebrating the 60th anniversary of the Great Michigan UFO Wave of 1966, with 3 presenters speaking on Michigan-related UFO topics.
Yes!
Yes!
Oh my God, we have to go.
So the first presenter is a man who worked at worked in like the National Air Force Base, and he was actually employed at the Air Force Base that detected the Roswell crash wreckage. And then the other presenter is a meteorologist who was working at the National Weather Service. Do you remember in episode 1? If you haven't listened, you should go back. When I mentioned the UFO sightings on the west side of the state and how it was detected on the radar, it's that guy. He's going to be there. And he's the same one that was featured in the Netflix Unsolved Mysteries episode.
Basically famous. Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
So when do we get our tickets? Like, do we have to sign up for this?
Like
is it
tomorrow,
free?
It's $36.
Easy.
Which is fine.
I'm
fine.
there.
And then last but not least, Nicole, I'm just going to read her little bio for you because it shook me to my core. Nicole is a lifelong, fully conscious alien abductee who grew up in the Chicago area and is now based in Metro Detroit. Her first memory is of a gray alien standing at the foot of her crib. These experiences have continued throughout her life up until today. So we're getting a range. We're getting a former Air Forceman who investigated wreckage. We're getting a weatherman who detected a UFO event, very famous one in the 90s. And we're getting an alien abductee. And there's vendors. So you know they're going to have fun alien stuff.
We have to get shirts so we could wear them there.
Are we going to advertise? Are we going to request a booth? It's our first booth at our first conference. People don't even know. Like, they're making history. This is so exciting. Oh my gosh, they even have accommodations, but...
Yeah, we need to put this on our calendar now so we don't forget.
For real.
We'll do an episode live.
Yes, live
on-site.
Recording. Can we get an exclusive interview with one of these people for the podcast? No, I'm just spiraling.
Thanks so much for doing that research. Wow. I am so pumped.
I know. I got so excited by just that. I was like, okay, wait, now how do I join their team? But yeah, they have chapters and team organizations, just fun stuff.
Do they do anything besides that, like during the year?
You know, it doesn't look like it, but as maybe new members of this year of MUFON, maybe we can change that. maybe we can get more
Exactly.
active.
We'll
Um,
we'll get on the board or something.
Dude, what a great resume builder.
Can you imagine?
I work with birds, I do conservation, I'm on the board of UFOs in Michigan.
Oh,
It's your 2 truths and a lie. I love it.
so unbelievable.
But yeah, their MUFON has chapters in over 40 countries and in all 50 US states. So, what are you guys doing? I mean, after this episode, of course, go join MUFON. What the heck?
Yeah, look up your local chapter. Go to the animal annual meeting and yeah,
That's
write
so
in.
fun. Right
Tell
in.
us about your experience.
Yes. Have you been abducted by an alien? Tell us.
Do you see aliens at the foot of your bed? Tell us.
Speaking, have you ever seen an alien or UFO, Grace? Before we dive into again, dive in. That's okay.
Always diving. Aliens are in the ocean, so diving works.
True, true.
But besides seeing that Starlink that one time, no, never. Never seen an alien.
I've never seen an alien, but did I tell you about the one time when I was driving home for my job in high school? Okay, I'm setting the scene. It's the summer of 2012. Windows down is nice. I'm turning into the subdivision. It's like dusk, so it was like 8 o'clock, but it was 8 p.m., but it was summer, so it was still relatively light outside. There was a triangular like formation of lights all in a row, in sync with one another. It does look like what Starlink is today, but it was before Starlink was a thing. I was so amazed. I literally stopped my car, kind of unsafely, right in the middle of the road and just like stared at it because I was like, what is this? I was literally half a block from my parents. So then I quickly go drive, pull in the driveway, run out of my car, leave the car running. I'm like, door open and all. I'm just like, come outside right now. You guys have to see this. Like losing my shit. My dad runs out, certified UFO Bigfoot lover, and he's like, oh my God, this is crazy. He's like taking photos of it. My mom couldn't be bothered. She was later disappointed, but it
What did
was
your dad
insane.
think?
He thought it was something really weird, like, he had never seen anything like it either, and then so he
Mhm.
did some digging, and apparently there was other similar sightings of those same lights in other places in Michigan, like, that day, and if you look it up on YouTube, other people all around the world have seen this also strange formation.
So it's on YouTube, like, you can look up to see, like, what you saw?
Yeah, you can look it up, and, gosh, we did, like, maybe 10 years ago. I was like, "Oh my god, that is exactly what we saw," but, like a line, like a formation, like, kind of like an arrow of lights, like geese flying, but
Mhm.
it was lights, and it was in a strict formation. It was very strange. I've never seen anything like it before, and the only time I've seen anything similar since was when I saw the Starling.
That is interesting. I mean, I have had people tell me before that they think they've seen aliens, but it ends up just being white pelicans. So, you know how, like, pelicans, when they're flying at nighttime, especially over a city, the light will reflect off of them. So it's kind of like a shimmering light up in the sky.
I
And
didn't know this.
I've seen it before when I was in college, and it looks like aliens. But it's birds, it's pelicans.
Oh, wow, I'm gonna have to look and see if there's videos of that. I did not know that. That makes me love them even more. I love them. Okay, let's get into these theories. I don't think I can wait a second longer. I guess I should probably do a quick recap of what the heck happened last
Yeah, do a
week,
quick recap.
but you guys should probably just listen to the episode before this one. This week, we are going to be continuing our dissection of the strange lights in Hessdalen Valley, the UFO hotspot of the world. We're going to be going through the theories and modern encounters witnesses have had with these UFOs or UAP and discuss the most debated theory of all, the ETH, or extraterrestrial theory, with eyewitness accounts of otherworldly beings. Before we dive into the ETH theory and modern encounters that corroborate this hypothesis, Grace is going to take us into some theories that attempt to explain the unexplained phenomena.
Before we start, I just want to let you guys know that a lot of these theories are very scientific. I am a scientist at heart. So, while I don't truly understand everything, maybe you will.
I believe in you.
So, first, we're going to be talking about the natural battery theory. To really understand this theory, you have to look at the valley as a massive underground science experiment. Imagine the landscape is split in two. One side packed with copper, and the other side is loaded with zinc and iron. When you add the valley's natural moisture and rainwater into the mix, it acts as an electrolyte, the same kind of liquid that you find inside of a household battery. This setup creates a natural circuit, allowing a steady flow of electrons to move between the different mineral deposits and to generate a low voltage electrical current right under the surface. As this energy rises, it hits sulfurous fumes leaking from the ground and reacts with the humid air. The result is that an electrical current ionizes the gas, creating those eerie, glowing plasma balls that witnesses have been reporting for decades. Could this be the cause of those strange glowing lights that light up the sky? Who knows? But we have a lot more theories to get into. Now, if the natural battery theory doesn't convince you, there's the piezoelectric theory. It sounds scary, but the concept is actually pretty simple and incredibly cool. The Hessdalen Valley is packed with quartz crystals, and when the Earth's plates shift or vibrate, even just slightly, they put an immense amount of physical pressure on these rocks. When you squeeze quartz, it actually generates electricity. As the crystal structure bends under the weight, positive and negative charges are forced apart, causing a massive buildup of electrical energy on the rock's surface. This can create a high voltage spark that can ionize the air above, potentially manifesting as those mysterious glowing orbs.
I like that one.
I like it too, but I feel like it must. I don't know if we're going to be going into like debunking these theories or not, but like, I feel like this theory, it has to be the perfect scenario, right?
And that's the issue, I think, with so many of these natural theories and something that I think would be too hard for us to try and debunk, but I know that the Hessdalen, Project Org's website, they have a long list of theories. They say, like, okay, what's good about this theory and why it doesn't always work. And that's what's so frustrating, but also interesting is nothing can 100% explain every single light that has been seen.
Another theory is simply static electricity on a massive scale. Think of the mountains surrounding the valley as giant conductors that can collect and store huge electrical charges, especially during very dry or windy conditions. As the wind rushes through the narrow geography of the valley, it's basically pushing that stored energy around. When the electrical tension becomes too great, it triggers a discharge into the atmosphere. This interaction can cause the air itself to crackle with energy, potentially manifesting as those erratic, glowing flashes or orbs that seem to dance along the ridgelines whenever the weather picks up. This one I'm not too convinced about because it seems like if the weather was bad during those sightings, it would have been noted.
Right, and I specifically remember reading I'm gonna talk about this report a little bit today, but they said majority of the times the lights were seen were during clear, normal conditions.
Yeah, yeah, somebody would have mentioned, oh, it was super windy or there were clouds or something. And yet another compelling explanation for these mysterious lights is the radon decay and dust ionization theory. And I'm going to be honest, before we get into this one, I don't get it. So, this process begins when radioactive radon gas escapes from the Earth and decays, releasing high energy alpha particles that ionize the surrounding dust to create a glowing plasma structure. And according to the Turner's model, these orbs function like a self contained floating fireballs.
I like the words you're saying, but I don't understand.
Yeah, i- it's like I'm saying
Fireballs.
words, but it's just not computing, and I can't imagine what we're talking about here.
So gas can decay. So
Yeah,
the
apparently so.
gas is dying, releasing alpha power. Okay. I'm just repeating what you're saying. I still don't understand
Yeah,
it.
and it's turning into floating fireballs? So basically, it's a superheated plasma core that's encased in a protective outer layer of moist air. And as the heat from the core causes tiny water droplets to evaporate, the resulting absorption of energy cools the exterior, preventing the orb from dissipating or exploding. This could explain how the plasma can remain stable enough to move, split, merge, or even form those complex substructures that people were saying they saw in the sky.
Like the upside down tree.
Yeah, the ones that were making those shapes or even looked like drones. Spectral analysis supports this hypothesis by confirming continuous emissions, a distinctive signature of the high energy ionized gas that defines these strange atmospheric phenomena. And while the plasma model is a great start, it doesn't explain everything, which is why some scientists are looking at even crazier explanations, like vortons. Marissa, do you know what a vorton is?
No, I'm just thinking of the villain in Crash Bandicoot. I don't know.
I don't think anyone knows what a
Cortex?
vorton is. Yeah. Well, think of a vorton as a microscopic vibrating hula hoop thing of energy. Unlike a normal ball of gas that wants to puff out and disappear, a vorton is held together by its own internal electric current, making it very stable, which I still I don't even understand what that means still. But these new theories are trying to solve the biggest mystery: why these lights have such a perfect shape and stay visible for so long when normal plasma should flicker out. And right now, experts describe the mystery of these lights like a multifaceted diamond. Basically, each theory, whether it's radon gas, plasma, or vortons, is like looking at just one face of that diamond. One theory might explain the color, while another explains the movement, but scientists haven't yet found a single grand theory that explains the whole stone. Even with modern technology, these lights remain one of nature's most stubborn secrets. So, those are the theories. I don't even know which one I subscribe to because those are all pretty scientific. And I liked the visual of a diamond where it's like there's so many different sides of it and you can't cover all of it.
Yeah, it's just kinda beyond our understanding. It's really cool. I actually really did even though I don't fully understand it, and maybe that's why I'm automatically like, "This should be right," is the radon decay and dust, but I also like the
Yeah.
Vorton as well, like, that kind of makes sense, and when you were talking about all these natural explanations they were having that can explain maybe some occurrences, I'm wondering, what if they're all true? And maybe including the most controversial one that we're gonna talk about now, the ETH, the extraterrestrial hypothesis. Um, what if they're all true and the aliens are purposely going to this area knowing that there's a lot of weird lights, and they're like, "Eh, they'll never figure out which ones were us and which ones weren't," to make it, like, more
Right.
secretive, you
Mhm.
know?
They'll be able to explain this one away. So, we're
Yeah.
fine.
There's, like, enough reasonable doubt.
Yeah, I like that theory though. It's all of them combined though. And
Yeah.
so it's neither here nor there.
And I mean, it kind of makes sense as well because we're not just talking about one type of light. There's 4 different types of light, and I think that they've categorized. So I think that's why they're having such difficulty. But yeah, let's get into this extraterrestrial theory. So, with observers over the years reporting structured objects and responsible, intelligent behavior of the lights, a strong hypothesis believed by some is the, like we've been talking, extraterrestrial hypothesis. For a long time, reports of unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAP, have been dismissed as misidentified aircraft, atmospheric effects, or human error. But in recent years, a very different kind of evidence has started to enter the conversation: historical astronomical data. One of the most talked about examples right now comes from researchers Bruhl and Villarroel, whose work has attracted serious attention. Their study focuses on something called transients, brief, star like flashes of light, found in archived sky photographs taken between 1949 and 1957. That time frame is crucial because it's before humans launched the first artificial satellite. In other words, there shouldn't be any man made objects in orbit yet. And yet, these images show points of light that suddenly appear and disappear in ways that don't match stars, meteors, or known natural phenomena. Bruhl and Villarreal suggest that some of these transients could be artificial, reflective objects, either high in Earth's atmosphere or in near Earth's space. If that's true, it raises an obvious but unsettling question: who put them there? What makes this research especially compelling is that the transients don't appear randomly. Statistically, their occurrence correlates with global UAP sighting reports. Even more striking, there's also a correlation with periods of nuclear weapons testing, a long standing pattern in UAP lore that these phenomena seem unusually interested in nuclear activity.
This is the first I'm hearing of this.
It's not coming from just, like, random speculation just by, some Reddit conspiracy theorist. One of the authors Beatrice Villarreal led the Vasco Project, a legitimate scientific effort that systemically scans archived photographic plates for unexplained anomalies. That work is also connected to the ExoPro Project, which searches for evidence of extraterrestrial probes using large data sets rather than eyewitness testimony. Taken together, this research suggests something important. These phenomena may not be isolated, location specific events caused by unusual geology or atmospheric conditions. Instead, they may point to a persistent global presence, potentially involving artificial objects operating in or near Earth's environment.
Can I just pause you for a second there? I just had, like, the weirdest experience.
What happened?
So I'm, like, listening to you, right? I'm concentrating, I'm in it. I have my headphone in. I just started hearing this, like, weird noise in my headphone. It was kinda like like a high-pitched ringing at first. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, it's just my tinnitus, I don't know." But then it kinda, like I don't even know how to explain it. It kinda sounded like just like
Aliens, they're trying to talk to you. They're coming in through
I
the headphone frequencies.
it was really weird. It was kinda like a rumbling then too. I feel like if we rewatch this video, you're gonna see me just be like, like, "What is
We
happening?"
have and we have to upload this as, like, a short.
That was the weirdest shit.
Grace almost got abducted by aliens, you guys.
I'm scared. I'm just in this room by my cat's in here, it's fine.
It's fine.
But the windows are open. Oh, dude, that was so weird.
Aren't deer in your yard. Those are aliens. They're watching you. That is scary. I would be scared.
And
You're
I feel like
okay.
I didn't even explain it correctly, like, it was so weird, and it's not doing it now.
Okay.
It's so weird. Okay, continue.
What if just, like, you started levitating off the screen?
It's like, "Amber, it's happening." I wonder if it's, like, your background. Do you have any, like, weird sounds going on?
No. Well, like, I maybe I moved my chair?
No, I don't think that's it.
That's weird. No, it's quiet.
I'm just going crazy. Continue.
This scientific evidence goes hand in hand with personal encounters people have had with the strange lights, even in the past decade. Anborg Engesvold was on a trip to the area when she spotted a beautiful, bright rainbow colored light very high up in the sky. Tranced and curious, she followed the light in her car as it moved inland toward Hessdalen. She stopped in a parking lot area and called a friend who happened to live in Hessdalen. She described what she saw, and her friend went out and realized he could see the exact same thing. The light was above a telephone pole. They continued to talk on the phone when their voices started to sound very metallic and strange through the receivers. When trying to talk to each other, the line went dead. Anne thought her friend's phone had died. It did not. She ended up following the light for a while longer until it moved out of the region. So something strange was happening during their phone call. Their voices got disconnected, sounding metallic. Very strange. Just 2 years later, Jerry Caceres described seeing a massive machine that could only be described as a spaceship. Watching from her kitchen window, the ship suddenly disappeared behind the hill, out of sight. A light quickly appeared, and just as fast as the ship changed shape to a strange V or I shape. And this is a image here that she actually drew. So she drew what originally appeared. Grace, would you want to try and describe it?
So, first, it kind of looks like an open parachute, and then it kind of turns more into a circle as it turns, and it has a bunch of lines on it to kind of indicate it turning, and then the arrow turns into, like, a V shape, kind of like what you would draw, like, a bird in the sky, and then it looks like it's just, like, flying away.
Yeah, it's very strange. It kind of looks like it's like bouncing off the mountain in a way, like behind the mountain and coming back up a completely different shape.
That's very odd. I mean, I would just be shocked if I saw something like that because, really, there is no explanation for that.
No.
Because even all of these theories, I think it briefly said that they could change shape, but not that drastically. They were more just like changing shapes and like orb shapes, not from an orb to a lined object, right?
Right, and what's so crazy about this illustration and kind of what from what it seemed the observer was saying, is it kind of went from, like, a 3D object into 2D. Like, there's no dimension being shown. But I feel like aliens could definitely do that.
Oh, yeah, they got technology, and I think it's just getting better too.
And I also feel like with that technology, we did skip over, I feel like, the, part where they are particularly interested in our nuclear technology, a little too
Yeah, what's
soon.
up with that? I like I said, I had never heard of that before. Had you heard that theory?
I hadn't. I hadn't
I
until I
mean,
saw that, I was like, "Oh my gosh."
my theory that I just thought of and I have put no thought into is that they're interested in it because it's like how we are scientifically advancing, and that's like a whole 'nother level is nuclear power and weapons, you know?
Yeah, that is true. I also wonder, like, if they're not even concerned that we have the nuclear power, they're more so just like, "Oh, let's see how they're gonna mess this up." And they're just, like, watching us for entertainment.
I like to think too, and this kind of is off the rails a little bit, but like back in the day, like the 80s and before, 60s, 50s, how there were UFO sightings. Well, you know how they're all very basic, like saucers?
Mhm.
And now they're kind of like orbs, like balls, right? That are like shooting through the sky that we see in videos. It's like we've advanced in technology. They probably have too.
That's true. I wanna know what have there been any accounts of UFOs in, like, medieval times? It looked like just a standard airplane,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Wow, you guys are so behind us.
Mhm.
Have to check the works."
Or maybe oh wait, I just have this new theory. Aliens are from the future.
There you go.
People
There you
from the
go.
future got
They're
me
not even
thinking.
aliens, they're just us, but from the future. Mhm. Yep. So, a year after that, in 2019, Helga Otera, a climate researcher, was approaching Hessdalen when she saw two abnormally tall humanoid figures standing in the middle of the road. While they appeared human like, there was something decidedly inhuman and off about them. They moved slowly, but intentionally, and Helga knew that they were aware of her presence. As Helga drove closer to the figures, they disappeared into the forest completely, described as almost, quote, melting into it. That night, standing outside her cabin and near the road, she spotted sudden movements out of the corner of her eye. There were two 6.5 foot tall figures with abnormally long arms and legs and a long ovalish hide running side by side up a hill. When the figures turned their heads and noticed her, they seemed just as surprised to see her as she was them. They ran without slowing down into the forest, and she hasn't encountered them again to this day.
I hate that, but also I'm glad that it's not like a bear where you startle an alien and they attack you.
Exactly, exactly. And then in 2020, even more recently, Hermoen was driving towards town on a Wednesday morning around 10 a.m. It was snowing lightly, though he could see out about 1,000 feet. Suddenly, while driving, he noticed an object the same color as the clouds that came into his upper right view, just 300 feet from where he was when it disappeared into the clouds. And this was his drawing of it.
It's very basic flying saucer kinda deal, what you would expect an alien spaceship would look like.
It is the most flying saucer you could imagine.
Mhm.
And the evidence of those flying saucers doesn't end there. Or it doesn't. There's been some drama and controversy in that regard, including in one recent Expedition X episode where eyewitnesses had accounts of aliens and apparently a UFO hidden in a frozen lake. The
Hmm.
expedition team did like sonar radar. They went in. It ended up just being a metal boat.
Ah, that's a close
Darn.
call, though.
Close call. Could there be something else hiding under that frozen water?
Under the boat.
Right, under the it's
It's a
hiding
cover.
under the boat. It's a cover.
Y
It's a cover up.
yeah.
So what's really interesting is that though there definitely has been a lot of reports of strange beings, humanoid figures, something otherworldly, there isn't any specific theories as to what type of aliens this may be, who they are, or why they're here. And I kind of wanted to talk not I don't want to say against the ETH theory, but I did some digging on a report, the Hessdalen report that was actually first published in 1990, just 8 years after the original sightings had occurred. So this was still a time when there was still relatively prominent sightings, and they had brought up some very interesting points. So they discussed a lot of the theories that they still believe to this day, though today they have more and they've been able to test out more. One thing that I thought was really cool, and I hadn't seen mentioned anywhere else, is that from the beginning of the case, they say, is that it seemed like people have understood the light to be hard thing, which
Hmm.
one can feel and touch, not just an actual like ray of light. This light must be an actual physical thing. And that could be where maybe people are getting misconstrued. So, fun fact, it could be due to the fact that in the Norwegian language, there is no word for lights one cannot feel and touch. If one called the lights stains, it would be associated with spaceships. So, Norwegians do not have a word for light that you can't feel or touch like
Do
how
we?
we would. Well, isn't it just
Or
light? Isn't it just the word light?
they don't have a word for the word light?
This is what the Scientific Hessdalen Report by Jan Krogh says. But
So, like, I'm thinking more like they don't have a word for light that's like an orb, maybe?
yes. Like, so whatever word they've been using to describe it, it might be having that automatic connotation with spaceships, and that can be where things are getting misconstrued.
Yeah, most definitely. But you also have people, like, drawing pictures and stuff.
Right, exactly, and it ends this, argument with saying that if the Hessdalen people during the past years have imagined that the lights are from alien spaceships, it is difficult not to believe anything else. And then it says,
Mhm.
if so, both the preachers from the UFO clubs must preach something equivalently fantastic in return. It's kind of funny, and but they did say with that a few pages later, just in when within those past 8 years, there had been 2 reports of alien or extraterrestrial figures or beings that witnesses within Hessdalen Valley came across, which includes actually predating my mistake, the 1980 encounter. It was in 1847,
Man,
way before.
and there's actually record of this.
Yes. It was a spring day, and Mr. Lars Lillevold's grandmother observed something she later described as a flying object. She also states that somebody was up in this object and was beckoning to her, like calling her from this object. And they presumed it was some other worldly being. And then in the 40s, there was another strange collection of objects. They looked like different planets, is how they could best describe it. I'm going to try and show you this photo. Um, but essentially, she saw these humanoid figures. I can't even describe.
Oh, I see it. Big heads, long arms,
Sick.
and go-go boots.
Six pack?
I see a six-pack and pecs. Mhm.
Six pack and pecs. And a weird a hat or like a weird I'm not sure. Very detailed in description though.
It is, yeah.
So strange. And she was later featured in bulletins and everything else. So there's really so much to this. It's hard to say there's one theory more correct than the other, and I feel like even after doing all this research and now coming to our end of our second episode on it, I still feel like I don't have a good understanding of what's causing these lights.
I feel like it's aliens or nothing.
Aliens or nothing. I like that. I think I'll go with the theory earlier where it's like, why not all? Why not both? It's the natural
Yeah.
and it's aliens. Um,
Well, I what I wanna learn too is, like, those other theories have they been proven in other areas of the world? Like, actually proven, not just like, "Oh, we think it could be this."
right. Like, can this actually even happen or is this just what you're assuming? Because,
Yeah,
scientists
like
have been wrong in the past. And that's a great question that I don't recall seeing an answer to or
like,
evidence
this could
of.
hypothetically happen, but we've never actually seen it or documented it.
Right. The most recent sighting occurred just nearly 2 months ago on Christmas Day, 2025. Video recording footage shows a low lying, unexplained ball of light that stays close to the surface as it zigzags its way up the forested mountainside. There have been so far several ideas as to figure out the cause of the light, from drone to snowmobile to car, but none of it makes sense. In the area where the lighting was observed, there are no roads. Suggestions of a strange camera artifact have also been suggested, but the length of time and the consistency in the structure and motion make it seem impossible for it to be a mere issue with the camera. Must be aliens.
It's gotta be. I mean, what else? A giant firefly. Group of fireflies.
I want someone to search that mountainside. Alien layer?
I wonder if they used a thermal camera, what they would find.
They might have, and I feel like the thing is I saw a video or I saw a photo, and I think it was a time lapse of this event, so it shows you the motion, um, and it looks like yeah, I mean, truly, zigzag patterned across the mountain.
But my thing is, if this is aliens, what is their true purpose? Why are they doing all of this?
Gotta grab a net and ask them.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be our big money idea at the conference when we go to in May. We're gonna be like, "Raise our hand. Have you just tried a giant net?"
But you guys, have you tried just netting it? Ever thought about that?
That's the Air Forceman.
Mic drop.
My job. Loud, high-pitched feedback, everyone screams, they think they're getting abducted by aliens. But yeah, very strange. That's all really that I have for this.
Well, it seems like these occurrences happen very often. So I wonder if you just kind of camped out there for a week or a month, how likely it would be to actually see something.
Right, I mean, and I feel like they see things so frequently, it's if that organization, if those nonprofits that are doing that research could get more funding and resources, I think they could get some answers.
We need to petition the government to step in and help them.
I agree. In fact, the Norwegian government apparently has largely ignored the Hessdalen lights phenomenon, despite evidence and reports of the light's existence for literal decades. The Research Council, which allocates 11 billion NOK annually, has provided virtually no funding for investigation. Despite the significant data and observations, the Norwegian scientific institutions have not shown much interest in addressing this mystery outside of some local universities that do research, but they're doing it in conjunction and with help of a nonprofit, which is
Mhm.
great. They're doing good work, but let's use some of the government money. You think they'd be concerned, unless they do know what's going on.
That's the only explanation. But it seems like there haven't been any reports ever that we know of course, of the government being involved in that area. And so if they're not involved at all, how would they know? Unless they're in on it. The aliens visited them. They're like, "Hey, we're gonna take over this area, you know, don't mind us."
Controversial take. I don't even know if they have presidents in Norway. The Norway president is an alien. Drops mic
I love
again.
it.
No, I'm joking.
That's a great one. I would say the theory that I like the most, and I think makes the most sense, truly is aliens. Other than that, I like the idea that the rocks are rubbing together and creating electricity, but I just think it's still kind of out there. I mean, even I would say it's even more out there than aliens, in my opinion. Yeah, it's aliens in my head. What about you?
I definitely feel like some of it could be aliens. I also feel like some of it has to be naturally occurring somehow that we just don't understand, just because of how many different types of lights there are. And while the official organization that has done the most research on this has 4 different categories, I think just to try and make their research easier, I feel like it's a lot harder to I don't think it's actually maybe as accurate to just have them in 4 categories. The sightings very differ like, they differ so much. Even with just that last one we had just talked about, I haven't seen any others just like that, where it being low to the ground like that.
Yeah, that almost looks like there's somebody with a flashlight on the ground, like
Yeah.
running fast through the forest, but then stopping randomly.
I just feel like there has to be more there should be more categories to better, like, split them up, and with that, aliens are smart, and they do have great technology, but could they really be responsible for all of that? Seems like a lot.
Or it's like you said, they specifically picked this area because they know that it can form these different types of orbs or electrical patterns. It's a cover up. It's a alien cover up by aliens.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Well, and maybe there's even more credence. I guess Norway has a king. Did you know that?
No way.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
A
Har
Norwegian king?
yeah, Harold the 5th. And they do have a prime minister, of course. But yeah, they have a king. Ask the royal family. All right. Well, I think that about wraps up this week's episode. Thank you so much for joining us this week. Please follow us on wherever you're listening to podcasts. Don't forget to rate and review us. And if you could tell a friend about us, that'd be awesome. We'd really appreciate it.
And if you've ever seen an orb of any kind, or you thought you saw an alien and maybe it turned out to be Starlink or a bird, um, let us know. We'd love to hear your story.
Totally.
Stay obscure, Earthlings.
Transmission ending.
Okay, this might sound stupid, but I kind of want to try that. I want to try it in the alien
Oh,
voice. I'm nervous. Transmission ending.
I like it.
Yours is so much better.
No, yours is
Mine's like
good.
feel like a little like
You have like yours is like a goblin alien. I like it.
yeah.